Hey, everybody, this is Perch. I'm gonna pick on a post, but I do so with respect. So, a lot of you post on in the comments, and I mean, there's dumbasses who come in often from other channels who are misinterpreting what's being said, but there's others of you who are regulars, and one of the regulars is Infamy or Death. I think pretty dramatic name. Anyway, I'm gonna pick on you for a second, but I want you to know it's with respect. Okay. Um, I think everybody's welcome to their own opinions, and I think it's really important that in channels in topics of like this one where we're it. I always view my channel and the topics that come up and the things we talk about as you're in a comic shop, I'm in a comic shop, and it's like we were having a friendly conversation. I view myself still as kind of a retailer. I want your money. So therefore, I'm not going to go at you, but I may challenge you or argue with you or spar or whatever. I want to have a good debate. I actually enjoy arguments from the sense of, we get to talk about a bunch of things. Now, obviously, if the argument turns into like a fist fight, it's gone too far, but arguments are fun. And that's how I view the channel. I recognize, and I think for a lot of you probably listening to this right now, hopefully most of you are on board with this, but this is not how most channels operate. Most channels operate from a standpoint of you agree with me or I block you. Or it's like like the cult of personality. I always get really creeped out by that. I think the people who go all in on like it's when you start giving cutesy names. I listened to a couple channels, and they call the whoever's running the channel uncle, like Uncle Roger or Uncle Ed. And it's like, don't call me a family member. It's just creepy. It's creepy as fuck. I don't like it. Anyway, um, but I believe it's healthier when it's not a cult of personality. I believe it's healthier when the host, i.e., me, is self-deprecating, and we can admit our flaws and our biases because that helps us, basically have a conversation. If I didn't do any of that, I was an arrogant, egotistical maniac, my channel would probably not half, double the subscribers, but oh boy, then I'd have, like, instead of the 1,500 a month, I'd have 3,000 a month. Oh wow. What do I do with all this cash? I sorry. Who cares? And literally, I understand it's probably sound like a douche saying that, but look, I make more than that in my day job. We'll just put it that way. All right. So, why am I picking on this guy for? So I did this video on Kathleen Kennedy, and in that video I said, factually, that Star Wars is in the green. Technically, I was being a moron there, and I meant in the black. It basically means that Star Wars as a property under Kathleen Kennedy has made more money than it's lost, which is a factual statement. That's an objective fact. That is not speculative. There's actually hard numbers to prove that. And Infamy or Death, again, I'm a little intimidated by his name, challenged this comment to say Star Wars in the green, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, I've ever heard. They've shelved nearly all the products. Even Disney understands that they've ruined the franchise, the merch isn't selling, they've lost billions. Okay. We debated a little bit online, but I ultimately am taking this to a video because I think it's an interesting topic. It is a factual statement that Star Wars is profitable, not losing money. A lot of YouTube videos will say Star Wars is losing billions and billions and billions, but these people have no basic math skills nor financial skills. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And I'm sorry to say, but it's true. If you are taking your financial acumen news from a guy called the Splintering. Sorry, that's too close to the Quartering. I was trying to think of a name that wasn't really related to anyone because I'm not really picking on anyone, but more a group. The point is, if you're taking your financial advice from some like bearded guy who's got a row of toys behind him in his video, that's not a good place. Like, you wouldn't have that guy do your taxes. Why are you listening to this guy for financial advice? Anyway, I mean, I'd hope you wouldn't have that guy do your taxes. My God, don't have that guy do your taxes. but it's factual. However, at the same time, it is also true that Star Wars has left a lot of money on the table. The way you would typically talk about this, if we were, if we were actually, CFOs in a company or we were doing financial analysis, it would be this way. Um, the projections or opportunity cost or upside potential of the Star Wars franchise has been minimized by the actions of the leader and of the choices the company has made. That sounds kind of, like douchey talk. But basically, what that means is that Star Wars as a brand was projected to make a lot more money than it did. It was projected to be a much more powerful acquisition. And some of this, again, just like we can say objectively, factually, Star Wars has made more money than it's lost for Disney. We can also say that Disney, when they purchased Lucasfilm, they did projections of what the property and the brand would be worth. They did this in order to basically give due diligence to their shareholders and others of what Star Wars, why it was a valid acquisition target. Generally, this information is kept private. Some of it has been leaked. Me, from my time when I was at Disney, I saw these documents. I've since seen them publicly, so they've been leaked. You can find them on Google if you search even a little bit. You'd look for Star Wars acquisition projections. I mean, I don't know the exact terms, but if you fool around with those words and try a few other things in that realm, you'll get to it. Star Wars was projected to make a lot more money. Now, that was money they didn't have, and it was money they were not spending. And that's why it's very important to separate actuals versus projection. And I understand, this is definitely a financial term, and it may not be how a lot of you operate. But you can't, a more colloquial way of saying it is don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Meaning, you can't say you've lost money off of projection. Projections are, estimates of what you might make. Another way of saying it is, like, if you go out today and you basically, buy trading cards for $10, and then you turn around and you sell those trading cards you just bought for $10 for $5, you have factually, objectively lost $5. You have paid for something and you have sold it for less. You've lost money. If you bought something for $10 and you sold it for $20, but a couple weeks later, the price moved up to $100, you didn't lose money. You made $10. Factually, you made money. But the opportunity cost of what you could have made if you would have, just waited a little bit is that it's that $90, $80. You understand, $90 from your purchase, $80 from your sale. That's the opportunity cost of what you missed. If you ever go to Vegas and you gamble, you can drive yourself crazy with this by saying, it's possible to win $1 million at the, at roulette. But you wind up losing $300. So do you count the $300 loss, or do you count the fact that if you're really lucky and picked the right number, you could have made $1 million? That's a little bit what Star Wars is about. I think there's no doubt that under Kathleen Kennedy's stewardship, and you can't blame it all on her. You can blame it on the directors who were hired. You can blame it on some of the people who were involved. You can blame it on the direction Disney wanted to go in. Lots of people were involved in this failure. But you have to separate the fact that, yes, they made money, but also they didn't make nearly enough money to what was possible. Those are two different buckets of money. And many of you listening to this right now may be going, it's all the same. It's why Perch? Like, why are you being such a dick? And trying to, are you trying to protect Disney? Are you, simping for Kennedy right now? By the way, every time I hear Kathleen Kennedy, this is what a dumbass I am. Every time I hear Kathleen Kennedy, I think of Mr. Kennedy from wrestling. this is like the guy had a very brief career, but his gimmick was basically he'd come out and he'd announce himself. He goes, Mr. Kennedy, and then like somebody would start to talk, he'd be Kennedy, and he'd just like spit it at their face. It was very funny. You'll just have to trust me on this, unless you know who I'm talking about. But Kennedy, anyway. Um, I think it's very fair to say that Kathleen Kennedy did not maximize the investment that was made, or anywhere close to it. I think the choices that Disney made, and she was the head of it. She was the head of this arm, this branch of Disney. So while I think a lot of people, you can't say she made all the decisions that lost money or, lost opportunity, better way to say it. She was in charge and the buck stops somewhere and it stops there. She could have made better decisions, and she could have hired better people, and she could have led that thing to a better success. At the same time, when people are like, I don't know why Disney didn't fire her 8 years ago, because she was making money. It was still profitable. And one of the saddest things about corporations are people who, do turn a profit, and they're not turning the profit you expect or the profit you want. It's definitely a disappointment from what you hoped, but you're surrounded by morons who are actively losing money. And Disney had several branches of its empire that were like losing money, that were bleeding cash, actually factually losing money. And so, if you're Disney, what do? Do you stop the money that is being lost? Do you stop the bleeding? Or do you turn your attention to Star Wars and go, yeah, you made $1 billion, but you really should have made 3? Well, almost every company, every corporation will put their attention to where the money is being lost, not where the opportunity is being lost. And a lot of companies have risen and fallen on that premise. I say all this, it's weird because I didn't like the Kathleen Kennedy era of Star Wars. I didn't like those movies. I didn't think they were very good. I mean, to be fair though, I thought the prequel trilogy that George Lucas helmed, like that original, like the Phantom Menace, that was a piece of shit movie. Like that wasn't good. Like, is anyone out here claiming that was a good thing? Like, to me, the damage for Star Wars was done long before Kathleen Kennedy entered the scene. But she didn't help. There were a couple good moves. She did The Mandalorian. She got into streaming. That was good. I liked Rogue One. I thought that was a fun movie. I think of this era, I think that's the only one I really liked. But do I wish somebody better was there? Yeah. But at the same time, I believe in this, and I want, please in the comments, let me know how you feel about this. I want all of you, I don't know why this is important, including infamy or death. I want all of you to agree with me on one thing. We should be focused on what's important. And to me, I think what's important are facts. Facts matter. When I do those comic sales number videos, when I do this kind of stuff, I don't do it because I enjoy looking at a bunch of shit and using Excel. I do it because I think that whether the facts are in my favor or not in my favor, I think facts are important. I feel like I'm saying this, but facts sounds like facts. I'm saying it all stupid. Facts. Anyway, FACTS is what I'm saying. Facts matter. And, I think I am man enough or adult enough, hey, no judgment. We got men and women here. I am adult enough to say, to raise my hand and say, I did not like the Marvel versus DC amalgam crossover. The stories I thought were pretty shallow and pretty stupid. I think they weren't good stories. I also think Heroes Reborn, Jim Lee on Fantastic Four, it wasn't a good comic. If you go back and read that thing, it wasn't good. Like, the story sucked. But I'll give you an even better one. Hush. Hush sucked. It's not a good comic. Have you read that thing? It's not good. Jim Lee's art is okay. It's Jim Lee, but I mean, even the art's kind of bland. The story is awful. Hush is a dumbass story if you read it. But I am adult enough to say that thing sold really, really well. It was popular. What I would love, again, let me know in the comments. I would love for all of us to at least be on the same page that we can say, I didn't like this thing, but I will admit when it's popular. I will admit when when it makes money. To me, it's important to say Kathleen Kennedy's tenure at Disney was disappointing. I think she left a ton of value on the table. And, I'm sitting here going, I kind of like The Mandalorian, kind of. I was not a big fan of Baby Yoda. I liked Rogue One, but by and large, didn't care for it. But to say she lost billions and billions of dollars for the company, it's just not true. She may have lost billions of dollars of opportunity. I'll agree with that. But there's a big difference there. And I guess that's my point. And that's the point of view from this channel. Go woke, go broke. Or whatever. Thanks for listening.